So students, welcome to NEET class biology. So in our last class we were discussing about sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So we have discussed till agents of pollination, different agents of pollination we have discussed, okay, and some important points. Some are not there in the textbook, but they have asked for entrance exams before, like what are pro-Ubish bodies, what are Ubish bodies. These words, Ubish bodies and all are not there in the textbook, but so many times in the entrance exam they have asked, because today we are going to discuss some questions which they have already asked in previous medical entrance exams. They have covered all these, so I thought we will discuss those points also, okay. That is pro-Ubish bodies. What are pro-Ubish bodies and what are Ubish bodies? Okay, we have discussed a cross section of anther. If you remember, we have discussed cross section of anther where in so these are microsporangium. We have already discussed it in our previous class. Something I had to tell you, we have already discussed about it. There are many cells here. Outer layer is epidermis, then comes endothelium. There are middle layers. Then very important layer here, that is nutritive tissue, which gives food or nutrition for MMC. MMC means that is microspore mother cells. These are all MMC, microspore mother cell. Then this outer layer, that is a tapetum layer, which is nutritive, which gives food for these MMC to grow. Microspore mother cells are also called pollen mother cells, we know, because in future they produce pollen grains. Okay, so these MMC gets food from this tapetum. So what are these pro-Ubish bodies that we should see, which is not there in the textbook? So if we study single MMC, single microspore mother cell, okay, if you see single microspore mother cell, inside in the cytoplasm of the cell, this is a nucleus. In the cytoplasm, some special organelles will be there, like cell organelles, okay, floating materials. Some special organelles will be there. Out of that, one special organ is called pro-Ubish body. That is this pro-Ubish bodies. Okay. So pro-Ubish bodies are found in cytoplasm of microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. Then these pollen mother cells, these pro-Ubish bodies present here can easily pass through the tapetum layer. Okay. Then they are coated with, while passing through the tapetum layer, okay, the pro-Ubish bodies are coated. Suppose this is pro-Ubish body, they will be coated with the extra material. Okay, that extra material is sporopollenin. You know what is that sporopollenin? Hardest, toughest organic material. When pro-Ubish bodies are surrounded by sporopollenin layer, now they are called as Ubish bodies. So Ubish body is nothing but it is coated cell organelle present in microspore mother cell. Okay, cell organelles you have learnt, like endoplasmic reticulum, then Golgi complex, mitochondria, like that. In the same way, microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell present in the anther, in the microsporangium, each cell in the cytoplasm contains special organelles called pro-Ubish bodies. Okay, these pro-Ubish bodies will pass through the tapetum layer, goes towards the middle layers. At that time they will be coated with sporopollenin. When these pro-Ubish bodies are coated with sporopollenin, now their name changes from pro-Ubish body to Ubish bodies. Okay, then generally we said in previous classes that tapetum gives nutrition to growing microspore mother cells. Whether tapetum has some other functions also. There are many functions for tapetum that we will see now, because I don't want to leave anything in this chapter. I am discussing it in detail. Okay. Functions of tapetum. First function is giving nutrition to MMC, the microspore mother cell. Then what about other functions? During pollen formation, it forms nutrition to pollen grains. That is what? Nutrition to MMC means it is also called PMC, pollen mother cell. So later this pollen mother cell becomes pollen grain. So for formation of pollen grains, tapetum gives nutrition or food. Okay, this is a microsporangium. The outer layer is tapetum, and here inside all the cells are there, MMC, microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. If they have to grow, then tapetum should give nutrition or food for growth of these MMC. Then sporopollenin is also contributed by tapetum. See what we discussed. Pollen grains in their exine, outer layer is called exine, isn't it? Exine is very tough because it has a special material called sporopollenin, which is the toughest material, toughest organic material. Even if you put acid, bases or enzymes, you cannot dissolve sporopollenin, which is toughest material. You should think, what produces sporopollenin? In that flower, in the anther, which part of the anther produces sporopollenin? That is tapetum. So other function of tapetum is it directly produces sporopollenin. That is why I said pro-Ubish bodies are present in the cytoplasm of MMCE. When it passes through tapetum, pro-Ubish bodies will be covered by sporopollenin. That means sporopollenin is produced and contributed by tapetum. So sporopollenin is contributed by tapetum. Okay, then what about other functions of tapetum? Pollen kit and tryphin substances are secreted by tapetum. We have learned that pollen kit, or pollen bag, we also call it as pollinia or pollinium. We discussed it is there in two plant families. That is, which are those two? Asclepiadaceae and Orchidaceae family. Asclepiadaceae, Orchidaceae family. Pollen kit and tryphin, chemical substance. These both are produced by tapetum. Okay, so these are the functions. Then other than that, it produces Ubish bodies also. Ubish bodies are also produced by tapetum. Then any other function it has? Some proteins are produced by tapetum, which is present in pollen exine. Okay. Then very important function is pollen grain absorbs moisture, which is helpful for identifying compatible pistil. You have learnt pollen pistil interaction. Pollen pistil interaction means stigma. When pollen grains of the same plant falls on stigma of the same plant, then the stigma accepts it, or it understands that it is same species. Okay. If pollen grains of different species, let us take example. Okay. The plant is mango. Okay. Stigma belongs to mango, but pollen grain is of other plant, not mango, some other species you take. Okay. If the pollen grain falls on stigma of mango, it rejects it because it considers it as other plant. How it can understand, how stigma can understand. That is a dialogue between a pollen grain and stigma. Okay, so that is called pollen grain and pistil interaction. So for understanding what type of pollen grain, whether it is self pollen grain, that is self means from the same plant, or non-self pollen grain from other plant. So rejecting the pollen grain and accepting the pollen grain for pollination, for pollen tube formation is also, or pollen germination, it also depends on tapetum, because tapetum produces special chemicals, okay, that is nothing but proteins. Some proteins are produced which is helpful for identifying right pistil. Means whether required pollen grain falls on the stigma, whether it is stigma of same plant or different plant, pollen grain can understand based on proteins produced by tapetum. So some proteins are also produced by tapetum, which is helpful for identifying the right pistil. Then some proteins are produced by tapetum, which is helpful for absorbing moisture, that is water content. Okay, so these are all functions of tapetum. So okay, then you may ask in your textbook, that is not there, that how pistil can reject the pollen grain, how stigma can reject the pollen grain. Suppose if it is a pollen grain of different species, okay, then stigma rejects it. How it can reject? By what way? Rejecting means pollen grain cannot produce a pollen tube, no germination. How pollen grain understands? Pollen grain can understand by the proteins produced by tapetum. And second, how stigma blocks entry of pollen tube into the stigma. That is, in absence of these proteins produced by tapetum, stigma produces special structure that is called callus plug. Some undifferentiated cells, okay, will be formed on the surface of stigma which blocks entry of pollen tube, like this. Suppose this is stigma, what we are talking about, and the pollen grain, what is there? I'll write PG, pollen grain. This is of different species, so stigma rejects it. Okay, pollen tube cannot be formed. Why? Because some undifferentiated cells will be formed on the topmost layer, that is called callus plug. Okay, so this callus plug will not allow this pollen grain to produce tube and enter into the stigma. So this is a mechanism for all these 6 major functions that tapetum has. Okay, so you remember these functions of tapetum. In case they ask any one function, you should be able to identify. Okay, I want to explain more, but this is not teaching class, this is a synopsis. Even though it is synopsis, I am too much teaching and too much explaining. Okay, my intention is you should take maximum benefit of my class, and you should be fully ready for not only NEET, AIIMS also. Now AIIMS is clubbed with NEET, before this year 2020 NEET, sorry 2019-20 NEET, recently what happened, in that they have clubbed AIIMS with NEET. Based on NEET ranking only, they will choose for AIIMS, that is All India Institute of Medical Science. There are 9 AIIMS in India, I told you. Delhi AIIMS is top. Okay, every student's dream is to join Delhi AIIMS, but your scoring should be more than 650 out of 720. Even then, if NEET paper is easy, then above 650 also it is difficult to join AIIMS. Okay, so what I was saying, So we will discuss next part. Okay. So what is next part which we have to discuss? That is, we have, I think, discussed till agents of pollination. Agents of pollination. Now we have to discuss outbreeding devices. Outbreeding device. Outbreeding device means, some plants avoid self-pollination. These plants doesn't want self-pollination to occur. Self-pollination means pollen grains of same flower falls on stigma of the same flower, same plant. Okay. If it happens continuously, continuous self-pollination, like more than 5 times, if self-pollination happens in a plant, then it leads to inbreeding depression. You know this. Inbreeding means, cross between same breed. Inbreeding depression means after 5th generation, plant becomes sterile. Sterile means it will lose the ability to reproduce only. That flower becomes impotent. Impotent in human beings we say. Impotent means human being who cannot reproduce. He doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Okay, now ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಪುಂಸಕ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅವನಿಗೆ. Okay, so impotent in English, he doesn't have potency to reproduce. Okay, so outbreeding devices means, inbreeding means crossing between the same breed, self-pollination. So this is a method of avoiding self-pollination. Okay, suppose this is a flower, okay, where anther and stigma, same flower. If pollen grains of same flower falls on stigma of same flower, this is nothing but self-pollination, autogamy. Okay, if this happens continuously for 4-5 generations, 4-5 generation means pollen grain of one flower falls on stigma of other, then seed is produced, new plant is produced, 1 generation is over. Then again in that plant also pollen grain falls on the stigma, 2nd generation is over. Then in next plant also same thing happens. Like that, if more than 5 generations self-pollination occurs, that is nothing but continuous self-pollination leads to inbreeding depression. So this is not only in plants, this happens in animals also. Even in cattle, in cows also, if continuous inbreeding they do. Inbreeding means crossing among the same breed. Okay, like Jersey is crossed with Jersey, Red Sindhi is crossed with Red Sindhi. Okay, Holstein Friesian HF is crossed with HF. In that case what happens, more than 5 generation, if Jersey is crossed with Jersey, then after 5th generation offspring formed will be sterile. Sterile means it cannot reproduce. Okay, it cannot reproduce. Now perfect ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ನಾಮರ್ಧ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, he cannot reproduce. This is a bad word. ಅಂದರೆ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಈ ವರ್ಡ್, not actually bad word. Okay, they in a Kannada they use that word, not in all the context. Okay, like for saying the person cannot reproduce, in English we call impotent. Okay, he is not able to reproduce. So after 5th generation, continuously if you do self-pollination, it leads to inbreeding depression. Flower becomes sterile, it cannot reproduce. Okay, so plant has some modification. Plant itself has some modification to avoid self-pollination. The plant itself discourages self-pollination and encourages cross-pollination, that is xenogamy. How it does it? Okay, that we have to see. How it does it? Number 1, receptivity of stigma and maturation of anther or pollen doesn't synchronize. Means Stigma contains some chemicals. That chemical we know. It is a proteins produced by proteins or chemicals produced by stigma. Okay, these stigma will be able to receive the pollen grain, so that pollen grain produces pollen tube. For producing pollen tube, stigma should produce some food. That is a food required for germination of pollen grains. That is, stigma, when it becomes mature, only then it can receive pollen grain. Young stigma cannot receive. It is like saying simply, suppose a boy is 5 years old and girl is 25 years old. Do you think offsprings will be produced if they marry? It is impossible, because the boy is just 5 years old. He cannot produce sperms also. Okay, but female, she is 25 years old, she can produce egg, but reproduction is not possible. He is very young and she is in a reproducible age. Okay, they don't match. Then, so same way, stigma, you compare it to female, stigma is mature, it is able to receive, but pollen grains are not mature. Okay, so immature pollen grain, if falls on the stigma, it cannot germinate, because pollen grain is very young, stigma is mature, or else reverse, vice versa. Stigma is very young, pollen grain is mature. Mature pollen grain falls on the stigma. Stigma cannot produce those chemicals because it is immature. Okay, so if both matches, that is, pollen grain matures at the same time and stigma matures at the same time, pollen grain and stigma becomes mature at the same time, then only fertilization happens. Otherwise, no fertilization, no pollen tube formation, no germination of pollen grains. So this is one method to avoid self-pollination and encourage cross-pollination. Okay, this is in the case of unisexual flowers. Unisexual means, bisexual flowers. This is in case of bisexual flowers. Bisexual means same flower having both male and female reproductive organs in the same flower. Anther is also there, stigma is also there. But this flower doesn't encourage pollen grains of the same plant, because either stigma matures first or pollen grain matures first, not both at the same time. So it avoids self-pollination. Why it avoids self-pollination? Because self-pollination is done continuously, then it leads to inbreeding depression. I said we are discussing synopsis, but I started teaching here. Okay, that too, my teaching is very slow, but this is, I am not going very slowly, because you already know this, you have already learned this chapter in theory and you have written one test also on this. Okay, then what about second point? Second outbreeding device. Device means your plant itself makes some modification, that is called device. What device plant has to avoid inbreeding and supporting outbreeding. Outbreeding means pollen grains of other plant on stigma of this plant. Okay, it supports. How it supports? Then what about other point? Anther and stigma are placed at different positions so that pollen cannot come in contact with stigma of the same flower. See, this is also very interesting. Pollen, that is anther and stigma, are at different positions. Let us take example. Suppose this is stigma at this height. Okay, but see, anthers are only till here. Okay, if it is wind pollination also, wind usually comes in this way, from left to right or right to left. Then pollen grains will go this way, isn't it? If wind comes from this side, pollen grains will be carried in this direction. Okay, no way air can carry pollen grains up. Stigma is at this height. See, stigma is here, anther is at this height. So in this case, bisexual flower only. Flower has both anther and stigma. but self-pollination is not possible because pollen grains will not fall on the stigma, because stigma is at this height, then anther is at this height. So if wind comes, pollen grains will go in this way, it doesn't fall on stigma. Okay, reverse if it is there, like anthers are long but stigma is short like this, then there are chances that if wind comes, then pollen grain may fall on stigma, but it avoids this. So it will have this condition, so that pollen grain of the same flower doesn't fall on the stigma of the same flower. This is one of the device that anther and stigma are located at different position. Then third is self incompatibility. This self incompatibility. Compatible means matching, incompatibility means not matching. Okay, self incompatibility means pollen grains of the same flower or pollen grains of the same flower or same plant, okay, if it falls on the stigma, stigma rejects those pollen grains. Stigma will receive pollen grains of other plant but same species, like pollen grains of mango should fall on stigma of mango only. Okay, don't think that pollen grains of other species will fall on mango. Then stigma rejects it. Stigma rejects two types of pollen grains. One is pollen grains of different plants, different species. Okay, different species. Like if it is mango, other than mango, if any other plant pollen grain falls, it rejects. Okay, then second, pollen grains of the same plant also it rejects. So what it accepts then? It accepts pollen grains of same species but different plant, that is cross pollination. It supports. So this is called self incompatibility, means the flower itself has modification of non matching with same plant or same flower pollen grains. It rejects same plant pollen grains. Then what about other points? Production of unisexual flowers. This is very simple. Instead of producing bisexual flowers where both male and female reproductive organs are there, it will produce unisexual flowers. Unisexual means some plants will have only male flower, then it is a male plant. Some plant will have only female flower, then it is a female plant. So that self-pollination is not possible. Okay, because see, plant itself has only male flowers. That means it has only anthers, no stigma. Okay, no gynoecium. Then pollen grains of that plant should fall definitely on stigma of other plant where female flower is there. Two plants, suppose plant A and plant B. Plant A has only male flowers, only anthers. Plant B has gynoecium, female flowers only. Then self-pollination is not possible because this plant has only pollen grains, this plant has only gynoecium, egg. So pollen grains of this plant should definitely fall on this plant. Then it becomes cross-pollination, isn't it? So that is one method, that is producing unisexual flowers. I think I am teaching very slowly. If this with this speed, if I teach, then difficult. Okay. Then male and female flowers are present on different plants. Okay. That condition is called dioecy. I'll write here. What we call dioecious. No, dioecy means male plant which has only male flowers versus female plant, two different plants. This is a dioecious condition, isn't it? Dioecy. Okay, its opposite is monoecious. Okay, so these are outbreeding devices. Then what about pollen pistil interaction? Just now we discussed. Even then, so lot of things we have to discuss in next class. We have to discuss some questions also. Let us see on what points we discussed today, okay, for NEET class. What all questions are there based on these points that we will discuss, okay. Okay, the first question is this. I am taking all questions which are appeared before in the entrance exam. Okay, these are all taken from medical entrance gallery. Medical entrance gallery is a separate page, okay, in the entrance book, where already appeared questions they will show. Okay, the first question is, tetrad megaspores is generally, we have already discussed. Megaspores, egg, we discussed, 7-celled 8-nucleate embryo sac, how it is formed, we have discussed from MMC, megaspore mother cell, we discussed with the diagram. So tell me, tetrad of megaspores is generally tetrahedral, linear, decussate, isobilateral. What is the meaning of that? Did you understand? If they have asked megaspore, not microspore. Microspore tetrad is isobilateral. You know what is the meaning of that? I should show you. Okay, better I'll show you here. You can see the board on the other side. So if it is tetrahedral, it should have this shape. This is tetrahedral. We have discussed types of pollen grains based on the shape. Then if this is there, this is linear. Then if one big cell and two small cells are there, then it is decussate. Okay, decussate. Then if all four are similar like this, then it is isobilateral. This isobilateral is there in microspore tetrad, where MMC becomes a tetrad, then it produces 4 pollen grains. That is isobilateral. But you have learnt this structure where it is produced like this. Then here 3 cells, here 2 cells, and here 3 cells. These 3 becomes egg synergids, and these 2 are polar nuclei. Then these 3 becomes antipodal, isn't it? So the nuclei are arranged in this way. So it should be linear. So it should be option B. This question was asked for UP CPMT, that is Uttar Pradesh Common Entrance Test, Common Pre-Medical Test 2000. Okay, then next question. Sorry. Okay, I hope you can see this. Yes. As I am only handling the camera, so we have to change the positions and all, becomes difficult. Okay, so how many nuclei are involved in entire process of double fertilization? That is options 2, 3, 4 and 5. The correct answer should be 5, because if I have to show, I think you can see this part, this part. Yeah, I'll draw here on the screen. So if the cells are like this, then here 1 egg, 2 synergids, 2 polar nuclei, and here 3 antipodal cells are there. When double fertilization triple fusion happens, okay, here 2 nuclei will be there in the pollen tube. The first nucleus meets egg, okay, and it becomes N plus N, 2N, diploid. Okay, so this is first nucleus of pollen grain and 1 egg. Both are haploid, N and N becomes 2N. Okay, 2 nuclei here. Then this one, second nuclei of pollen grain meets 2 polar nuclei. Each polar nuclei is N and N. So it is already 2N, and this pollen grain meets here. So it is N plus N plus N, it becomes 3N. Endosperm is triploid, primary endosperm nucleus. We have discussed. It is triploid, and zygote, egg becomes zygote. then it is diploid. So it diploid means 2n, 2 nuclei plus 3 nuclei. So 2 plus 3 is 5. Totally 5 nuclei are involved in the process of double fertilization and triple fusion. Okay, so 5 should be the correct answer. Then next question. Male gametophyte of angiosperms is reduced to options. Sorry. 1 cell, 2 cells, 3 cells and 4 cells. Understand the question, huh? Male gametophyte of angiosperms is reduced. What is male gametophyte? Pollen grain is a male gametophyte. Gametophyte means gamete producing structure or gamete containing structure. In future it becomes gamete, it produces gametes. So male gametophyte of angiosperms is reduced to what? 1 cell, 2 cells, 3 cells, 4 cells. It should be option C, isn't it? Because we have seen that pollen grain has 2 cells, one vegetative cell, bigger cell, and one generative cell. That is called 2-celled stage, where 2 cells are there. Then this generative cell, by division, it becomes 2 more cells. So totally 1 vegetative cell and 2 generative cells. 1, 2, 3. Totally 3-celled stage. We have learned this. Do you remember that statement in the textbook? 60% of the plants release pollen grains in 2-cell stage, and 40% of plants release pollen grains in 3-celled stage. So maximum the male gametophyte is reduced to, by meiosis, this generative nucleus divides into 2 more cells, that is totally 3. So option should be C. Then Ubish bodies, see, we discussed Ubish bodies. Ubish bodies are secreted by, see, these are all UP, Uttar Pradesh medical entrance test questions. This 90 question number, this one also and this also. Ubish bodies are secreted by tapetum, exine, microspore mother cells and endothelium. Now it is very clear for you, isn't it? We discussed in detail about Ubish bodies today. So it should be tapetum. Tapetum produces Ubish bodies, because pro-Ubish bodies, when they are surrounded by sporopollenin, they are called as Ubish bodies. Okay, then nucellus forms which of the following part of fruit? Again, UP medical interest test. Nucellus part of nucellus part, which is present just after the embryo sac. What it becomes when ovary becomes fruit? Ovule becomes seed in future. When ovary becomes fruit, then what nucellus becomes? Options: seed coat, perisperm, seed, and raphe. What it becomes according to you? It is option B, perisperm. Layer present in the one layer present in the fruit, that is called perisperm. So perisperm is produced by nucellus. Okay, nucellus of the ovule, which is present just after the embryo sac, which is a nutritive layer which gives nutrition or food for growth of embryo sac. Okay, mesogamy, this is repeated question, but see, mesogamy we have learnt, but this question is different. They have asked different options. See, mesogamy, porogamy, all that we have learnt, chalazogamy, siphonogamy, we have learnt in last class. It is not there in the textbook, but they have asked so many questions on this. Okay, mesogamy is options: fusion of male and female gametes, fusion of physiologically similar and morphologically different gametes, entry of pollen tube through integuments, none of them. It is definitely option C, entry of pollen tube through integuments. Okay, I hope you have understood this chapter very well. I gave you a lot of knowledge. Okay, so you are completely ready for NEET and AIIMS exam. Okay, with full confidence. Even in Allen classes in Rajasthan Kota also, they don't teach this detail. Okay, okay, so you are getting maximum benefit by my class. So keep watching my classes. Thank you.